Welcome everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Autumn and this is just a really simple art journal with me video. It's me spending a little bit of time at my art table and doing some slow art. It's not that slow. It's not that slow because the collaging and is fairly quick, and it's only, I think, in total maybe 30 minutes maybe at my art table. A little bit in the morning, a little bit late at night, but it's me beginning to slow down a little bit. I have been finding recently that I've been in a sort of frenzy of art making, of trying to keep up with myself, with other people, with social media, with Instagram and YouTube, whatever demands, and my own self-imposed demands, and the frenzy there is around making art and chasing the next technique. And I'm I want a more focused art practice. I want a slower art practice. I want to take my time, and even if it might be 5 minutes of art, I want it to be a little bit more mindful and, yeah, just generally slower. It's something that I tried to cultivate many years ago when I started to when I got into textile art and I started to stitch, and I did all sorts, natural dyeing, eco dyeing. I did felting and stitching on felt and all sorts of textile stuff. And that really, really slowed me down. And it was part of my healing at the time, what I was going through at the time. And I think getting onto Instagram and getting into the teaching side of things and all that, it's gotten me away from that, and I want to return. I want to bring that back. Getting away from that has been a detriment to my mental and physical health, and yeah, so it's not a small thing. It's not just something that I think is a nice thing to do. It's something that I need to do for myself, and I think slowing down. It's not for everybody. We're all at different stages of our lives, and sometimes we maybe need to express the excited parts of ourselves, the uh, whatever. If you're feeling fiery and open and needing to get some fast art done in your life, maybe that's where you are. So I'm not saying this is better than fast art. It's just a different way, and it's a way that I need right now. So I'm trying to cultivate that. So that's part of why I'm putting stitching into this journal, because that slows me right down. And that's what I've always found with stitching. I struggle to have patience to do it, but when I do it, it is good for my soul. So I want to bring that more back into my life, whether I do textile art or just bring more stitching back into my art journals. That blue bit of paper down there, that was a magazine jelly print, so an image transfer essentially. And even though you saw at the beginning that it was a like a room and windows, I didn't do it for the room itself. I did it more to use in this way, in an abstract way. So when it's cut down, you get the suggestion of a window, but in many ways, you just see pattern and shape and form. And the reason I found that blue piece of paper, because I couldn't decide what thread to do. So I thought if I do on the other side some color, and I'll go with that color and see what that inspires, because the orange thread wasn't really inspiring me. And once I got this deep sort of turquoise teal or whatever it is, it then inspired me to go for a similar sort of thread on the other side. And it's very hard to stitch fast. I mean, I know some people who do stitch fast, but it's just a practice that is just really forces you to do it slow, just by its method anyway. But more than that, it doing it just makes me go mindful in a way that's, splashing paint around doesn't do. Um, I just love the sound of that, so I'm just showing you. I'm showing you. I think that's jelly paper. It's just lovely having these different textures and sounds in an art journal. For me, it's a whole sensory experience. It isn't just a visual thing. It very much is the sound of the paper and the sound of different textures and the feel of different textures. So yeah, the piece of red and white paper you see there, I believe that's a sort of resist technique that I did in my Joyful Vibe Tribe in my members group last season. It's just absolutely glorious color. It looks red on here, but it's more like a deep rose pink. And I absolutely love the print, the stencil that I used. You might be able to find the technique on one of my other videos for the workshop, the Rolodex workshop. It might be in there. And things like having to knot thread or getting knots in thread, getting unwanted knots and all that sort of stuff. You just have to slow down. Um, so yeah, I was doing this, 10 years ago, slowing down and yeah, I find myself on the other side of it and think, how did this happen? And of course, I know because I got into the teaching side of things and into the social media side of things. And it's like, wow, it's almost like I lost my way. It's not quite because it's something that I suppose I had to go through. And it was also a ton of fun and learning and connecting with others and all that. But I know for me, I'm an introvert. I do have ADHD, so I can go really fast and crazy and frenzy and you get caught up in that. But ultimately, I am an introvert and a sensitive type. And, this chasing the next thing isn't really for me. And when I slow down, it's just the peace of mind that gives me. And maybe because I am ADHD, I need this also mindful practice as well. So if you're feeling that way, then perhaps the videos I do from here on, or at least for a time, will be a little slower and and simplicity, simplicity as well, isn't there, in slowing down. Sometimes I don't mind getting complicated in my art, but I like just simple and effective, and as long as it makes my eyes happy and my hands happy at the end of it, because it is absolutely the process of it. It isn't necessarily the result, although I do like a result that makes me happy at the end. But it's this process of sitting down at my table and gluing and sticking and stitching and curating bits of paper that are happy together, or that feel happy, is the practice that brings me peace and joy. I love that blue. Really love it. Most of the paint you see on these pages is gouache, but that magazine transfer is acrylic. Traditional gouache, you should say, which is not the same as acrylic gouache. So it is water reactive. And I was in a bit of a gold phase some months ago, and it looks like it's carried on. Because as soon as I thought, oh, gold, that made me so happy. And I think it looks absolutely glorious against that blue. Don't know about you, but I also tend to slow down naturally anyway when it comes into the autumn or the fall season. When it comes into the cooler months, I naturally start slowing down and going inward. I'm so seasonally affected. Yeah, I just naturally do that anyway, but I also see it as a bigger picture thing where I'm needing to slow down. But I definitely do that. I mean, let me know down in the comments if you're that type of person that tends to slow down in the winter months, in the colder months, that you hanker down a little bit, go inward, get a bit more reflective, maybe introspective in your art journaling. I'm definitely interested in doing these abstracts, continuing them because they are a really joyful place for me. But I also want to return to some more expressive art journaling. So if that's something you're interested in, you might want to join my Facebook community, although I called it joyful community. I think I might take that word out and just keep it as an art community because yeah, it's a slowing down and something more meaningful. So it's not necessarily all about my crazy abstracts and fun. But yeah, some more expressive art journaling, which is not about the a pretty result necessarily, is something I'm interested in doing. So yeah, this is why I now do spread this matte medium, gel medium, sorry, on very carefully or somewhat carefully. I've sort of decided where I'm going to put this, but I'm just showing you that I'm having a thing just in case audition in separate areas just to see. But I kind of knew where I wanted to be. So yeah, here I'm being careful because it is gouache and I don't want to activate it. I've heard people say you can't work over watercolors or you can't work over traditional gouache, but you can do it as long as it's 100% dry, like it's been like that for days, or like these collage papers, they are months old, so it's absolutely 100% dry, and you work quickly. You don't and lightly, quickly and lightly, and it's absolutely doable. I've been working with traditional gouache for years, so I'm comfortable. And because it is also abstract, if something smudges, it often just adds to it, or it's fine. I just love this little sprinkles of blue. It's like a metallic blue. Look at this lovely shine. Oh, I love it. Every time I see it, I love it. And that you can see that blue shining there as well because it's a metallic acrylic. Love it. I hope you enjoyed just spending a little time. Oh yes, and I do turn it around because it can go either way, this book. It is abstract and I actually love it upside down. This is a book I made in mini marks, which is a course that sold a couple of years ago, but it might come back in January. So if you're interested, to get on my newsletter. That was a fun, just journaling time. That just showing you a little bit of my journal while I'm here. I do love this journal. It's lots and lots of fun. But yeah, thank you for being here. Hope you enjoyed a little quiet journaling time with me. Bye.